in US and India, as you compare, I heard you in one of your interviews said like it is like 20 years apart
Yeah.
in the market,
Right.
and this was like a years, 2 years, 3 years back what you had said. What is the status now? Like,
See, you can't quantify it exactly, but we do run a little bit behind. But now you see the gaps actually closing in. Like if you look like even like 5, 6 years ago, when a new technology came out, it took India 2, 3 years to get that same technology over here, right? Where technology, food, different items. Now it's completely closed in the gap, right? So when a new iPhone comes out, it launches the same time in India and as it does in the US. So now you have started seeing the difference, right? Even cars, everything. Today they are launching side by side in India and US. So you see that gap closing in extremely fast. And we've seen that already happen with big companies and big brands and technology. Now we're going to start seeing that with product offerings also, which other startup brands are doing, right? Like today, if you go to a shelf of a supermarket, you'll see a lot more variety of each category of products when you go to any country across, even developing nations like Thailand, Indonesia. So they're like a couple steps ahead of us in terms of the innovation happening in the startup space and in the early stage brand stage, right? But that in India is just starting out. So, we will start seeing that difference. Brands have already started doing that, but where the opportunity is lacking is in the supply chain. So the supply chain in India has not caught up to the speed which other countries have, which is distribution and retail, which also now slowly we are seeing happen. But that is one area which I think a little bit work more is required, and I think in the coming years we will see that gap also fill in very, very quickly.
The only thing is that the infrastructure, that is what is lacking in our industry. Right. For us, all our product is transported through roads, right? And that's one major change that we need to make our supply chain much more efficient.
Yeah, the time that goes, from transporting goods and even outlets, right? Like today, distribution channels and retail is the infrastructure of that is very, very nascent today, which is now slowly changing. As international chains like 7-Eleven and all of that is coming into India. They are, I think, like making a shift in how retail is being looked at. And even like today, homegrown Indian companies like Blinkit and Swiggy, Instamart are completely changing the landscape in which consumption is happening of retail products, right? So that is a positive shift that we are.
India has the best tech now, right? Like today, starting from like Google Pay to all your hyperlocal e-commerce channels, retail, yes, in India, retail is still very prominent. Other countries, retail is also subsiding, right? And we see that shift in India as well. So tech is going to take over the whole supply chain model, and I think it's going to make it much more efficient in the coming years.
Yeah. And the crazy part is, even though we might be behind in physical retail, we're actually the most ahead in terms of quick commerce. Today, there's no other country I've been to where you can get your groceries delivered to you in 8 minutes. That's insane. Yeah. Right? And people who visit, my friends who visit from abroad, they're like, what the hell? I've never seen this happen before. Like, what? So it is crazy.